Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Investing Across Borders podcast, where we teach you how to invest, live, work, and play across borders. And I am here, I'm Lauren Cohen, I'm the host of Investing Across Borders, and I'm also an Investing Across Borders expert, cross-border lawyer, realtor, and I love working with people that have an international presence. And really, there is no person that I can think of that has more of an international presence than my lovely guest today, Mr. Bill Walsh. Now, I originally met Bill, although of course I've known about Bill for a very long time, but I originally met Bill on the infamous Marketers Cruise, which I went on like literally before COVID. And I think half the ship had COVID. Remember, so everybody had a sniffle, nobody knew what it was, they came home sick. And then the next thing you know, the whole cruise line industry went black or went dark, and the whole world shut down for a short time. So, But Bill kept going and kept coaching, and actually, as of yesterday, I'm one of his mentees. I couldn't help myself. I just needed to be in his circle, and I've been watching him. He's literally on the road like more than half the year, traveling, making a difference, helping people. And the thing about Bill is that he really cares. It's not like he's just doing this for a few bucks, because that's not his shtick. His shtick is that he really wants to make a difference for the entrepreneurs that step up and take action and are willing to work with him. And so I wanted to talk with him today about some of what makes him tick and what brought him into being a coach in the first place, because he was raising money to build a lot of companies and helping with the venture capital and all that fun stuff that I was writing the business plans for. So, Bill, please say hello and tell us a little about yourself, if you would.
First of all, it's great to be on your show and good to see you, and
Thank you.
really great to catch up again in South Florida. Yeah, so my background's pretty simple. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Out of high school and college, became a trader. I traded currency in New York and Chicago. And then for a decade, I did nothing but turnarounds. We would either fix a company, take it public, or close it. It was pretty simple. And by the time 10 years went by, I was burnt out. And I'm sure if you're listening today, you know what it's like to say there's more. There's just got to be more. And I got to a point where I had to take a couple-week vacation, because I think sometimes you have to check out to check back in. It became almost 2 years. Then I teamed up as a marketing partner with a young company called GoDaddy, another cool company called Franklin Covey. We put together a product called Successfolio. It was like a little business in a box. It gave you a business plan and a merchant account, and we said, go get them. We launched an incubator course in 2005 called Rainmaker. We've been marketing that course, a 4-day business intensive, 4 times a year since 2005 now. I can't believe it's been that long. And then a venture fund, and internet courses, book writing courses, speaker programs. We became the main sponsor for all the small business expos in the US for nearly 8 years. We went from a couple of cities to nearly 100,000 attendees a year. And now during that time, we wound up creating mastermind programs. And now we have a 7-figure club, a 9-figure club. We run breakfast clubs. We're launching a new TV show and actually a TV series, as well as a whole network called GBN. So I love what I do, and it's fun to watch entrepreneurs. And I always like to tell people that I've been broken, I've been wealthy, and definitely broke sucks. Get around people that inspire you. And that's what I love, the work that you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're really helping people not just have success, you're helping them build things.
Yes.
And when we can help entrepreneurs really build things that make a difference for others, it really goes into that, what I call the ripple effect of your work. It's not did you have success or did your clients just have success? Did they create their success and actually serve other people and help them live even more extraordinary lives? And that's why we do what we do, and I love it.
Yeah, it's so true, Bill, because when I speak, or one of the things that drove me to move to America was actually my desire to have a greater impact, because, I'm Canadian. I'm from a great city, Toronto. There really isn't better. I mean, it's very similar to Chicago, as you know.
It is.
And I couldn't be more proud.
You get the same great weather we get in the wintertime.
Yes, the lovely, lovely weather along the lake and all that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, for the most part, Canadians have a limited scope and entrepreneurship. Not that there aren't entrepreneurs in Canada and great ones, but to really have an impact in the world, you have to go beyond the Canadian borders. Just like in Israel, you can't, it's startup nation, but you have to go outside of Israel. And so I knew that there was something bigger, a greater pull for me to have that level of impact that I wanted to have. And now I have it on an international scale, helping Canadians achieve that same success, and for that matter, people from all over the world, which is what you do. And Bill, I wanted to ask you, so, when what first of all, what in the world prompted you to become a business coach?
You know what? I was really good. If somebody had an idea, I could help them with the vision, the mission, the path, the purpose. I could help them develop the team. I could help them raise the money. I could help with their marketing, and I was really good at execution. So I could literally take someone that had an idea about something and say, well, I don't see anything there. Or I could really say, I see some greatness there, and I could line up the people to get the things done. And so often what happens is that many times people don't realize that if you want to go really fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with a great team. And I was really good at assembling people and executing. And I did turnarounds for a long time where I had 4 months. I had 4 months to either close your company or fix it.
Right.
And if neither one of those were options, we would slice a portion off, maybe take that section public or sell something out, because I didn't have a long time and I didn't get a lot of runway. I worked primarily for the board of directors to fix these companies. And so I can do the same thing for entrepreneurs. And once I started to realize that most entrepreneurs don't make it, 80% plus don't even make it 2 years. And of the ones that do make, another half of them don't make it 5 years. So I began to figure out that they had better teams, better systems, better processes, and they were willing to put the work into it. Then, they had a much better chance to win. And I think that's what really got me involved with it, is I did it for so many years for big companies. And I said, why not create it for entrepreneurs worldwide? And now we
make it accessible, right?
Yeah, and now we teach our courses in more than 30 countries. And, they pay $5,000 for a year. They get to bring 4 people with them, and they get to work with our team 4 days at a time to work on all these things that, let's face it, nobody's training you on how to connect with millionaires or billionaires. Nobody's training you how to become a better public speaker. Nobody's putting all these together about how to get your book done and why social funnels and sales funnels and really what's the most current stuff to use. Because I know for a fact things are changing every day. Whatever you thought was great even 6 months or a year ago, there's new technology out there, and you've got to stay current. If you don't stay current with what's happening, you're almost putting yourself out of business.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And you mentioned staying current. So talking about staying current, pivoting was a big thing during COVID. And I think you were one of the people that pivoted right away, super fast.
Well, yeah, we went from 300 live events to 0.
Yeah.
So imagine that as a wake-up call. We're talking about renting the Javits Center, renting convention centers all over the country, to then there's no events. And within 11 days, believe it or not, I was in Miami, Florida when it happened. I sat with one of our heads of our mastermind groups, and we just said, it's not about just pivoting, it's about truly innovating. Yes. And it's really crazy. It was just a few months before that on the Marketers Cruise, I talked about that, by this summer, we're going to be able to go into all these new digital events. Not with any knowledge of what was happening, but sure enough, within 11 days of Miami close to being shut down, we literally went from nothing to a full-scale launch of digital events. We had 2,000 people on our first digital event within 11 days.
Yeah.
Like Mark Victor Hansen and Sharon Lecter and all these great speakers. We gave everything away for free. We sliced it up into 20-minute sections, and then, of course, launched something called Success Club and made that all free as a way to create a new awareness around online and digital marketing, and awareness to the fact that if you had the right tools like StreamYard, and you could use Zoom, and you could realize how to use good constant contact and mobile marketing, that we could assemble people in the masses quickly, and at the same time then begin to offer products and services as we delivered a lot of our courses through digital. But even through the crazy times, believe it or not, is that we teamed up with a group called Club Corp. And Club Corp, believe it or not, is owned by a group, it's a public company now called Invited. But what they did is that in the United States, especially in Texas, where it all started, is that even though you couldn't go to church, you could still go to the country club, because golf was a necessary business.
Yes.
So we began to run really small events in the country clubs every week. We were doing.
Were you a golfer already? Were you already?
I was not a great golfer. I belonged to Club Corp. I belonged to Country Club in Vegas, but it wasn't about that. It was the fact that they never closed. So we began to run small events, 20, 40 person events at the country clubs 3 to 4 times a week. So even though we couldn't do the live events like we were used to, we raised all of our prices, and we said, let's go after a higher level executive.
Right.
And when we did this, we knocked it out of the park. And people thought, how could we keep doing meetings? Well, I learned that I did my research that country clubs were a necessary business. Golf was necessary. So we just began to use all the clubs in Texas, Arizona, of course, anywhere in the South. So Florida was big for us. I got to visit every small city in all those markets by doing small power lunches to an executive group of entrepreneurs. And believe it or not, it was a saving grace.
I think that during COVID, that's what everybody, if they were going to be successful, they had to come up with some innovative way to do it. And
Yes.
you're right, like, I think that your background as the turnaround guy, and as you were talking about being the turnaround guy, I'm thinking of Richard Gere and Pretty Woman, right?
Yeah.
It's the turnaround guy. So there you go. It's a good comparison, right?
Yep.
But because you went in and saw these troubled, struggling businesses, and you thought, okay, what can we do to help this business to turn around in a tough time, COVID, unprecedented, what the heck? Who people were panicking. You know, I remember the first few times I was helping people get money from the SBA, and the first few times I had a few hundred people on Zoom, and I was like, how the heck am I going to have all these people on Zoom? And you know, but now it's just a natural. And for me, it turned out to be a really positive thing in a lot of ways, because as a single mom, sometimes it wasn't easy for me to go all over the world and speak. And now I can be anywhere. Nobody knows where I am, right?
True.
And it's a beautiful thing. And we can now get our message to the masses, whether it be like you traveling around in a jet plane all over the country or all over the world, or like me, sometimes a little more in my office, but yet still speaking to the world. And, you know, I think that it also made the world a smaller place, because you're now able to get your message to those people, and it's a norm. It's not like you want to talk on Zoom. What? Now it's like, oh, sure, we can do that. No problem.
Yeah. People now will jump on digital streams fashion because it becomes, every phone has it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you didn't adjust to that, I know a lot of people that, you know, their live event companies are all gone. You know, they were going to, we'll just wait this one out. And, you know, I don't believe in the waited out attitude. I believe that when things happen, you have to respond. You've got to respond quickly, because it's not about what does happen. It's about how you react to what happens. And because of this, there's been an incredible surge of great tools for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So whether you use Canva to write your book covers, whether you use, you know, Haro to get yourself published so you can do more speaking and training and get more interviews, or you use a site like Mingle, mingle.no to begin to launch your own influencer sites. And now, of course, with Chat GPT, you can do research at a moment's notice.
Oh, it's
great. You can write newsletters, you can write copy, you can write incredible. And I know people say, oh, that's not the way to do it. I'm telling you right now that the future is going to be people that learned how to use Chat GPT, and the people that wondered and wish that they did.
Agreed.
Because once again, it's giving you good insight and good, you can do research at record pace now. And so to not use all these new things that are coming out, you can't bury your head in the sand. That it's just not, I'm sorry, but it's not a strategy to win.
No, I agree with you. And I think, you know, I mean, look, as an attorney, you have to have a little skepticism about things like ChatGPT. And obviously they're not going to be able to provide you with a legal solution to something. But what these services, ChatGPT is awesome. I love the way that it breaks down things in point form. And but if all you do is take it and post it just like it is, that's not the way to do it. What Bill is saying is you have to take that and innovate it and bring it to your voice and have your voice speak. Like I have a marketing person that taught ChatGPT how to speak in my voice. So it's pretty awesome. And now when we say whatever instructions we give it, like, it's not always perfect, but it comes out, and hey, that saves you 20 hours of work.
At least,
you know,
these days, you don't know, you might be talking to there's an app called Synthesia. You know, this may not be Bill Walsh live. This might be Synthesia coming to you live today, but the technology is there where it can literally create rapid response on follow-up, on follow-through. I mean, I give you an example. I was in a hotel yesterday in South Florida, and all the power went out, but they had no way to communicate with all the people staying there. So needless to say, the front desk was overwhelmed. People were freaking out. But at the end, you know, it would have been a lot easier had they just sent a message out that said, hey, by the way, we have a challenge here, and here's what's going to happen. Here's the updates. they were still taking reservations at the hotel until 8 o'clock last night when the hotel was closed for all intents and purposes. So
That's messed up.
communication today is everything, especially with your clients, whether it's you're prospecting, they're a new client, or you're trying to follow up and follow through. Believe in automation and don't be lazy with your marketing. I think Jim Rohn said that a long time ago, and it's still true today.
Yeah, and also when you say don't be lazy with your automation, embrace it. Like, it's scary. Okay. I mean, I have a 12-year-old. I know your kids are grown. I have a 12-year-old, and I'll be like, can you just help me with this? Because at the end of the day, I have to think in his mind. Like, I have to think about what's the most efficient way to get this message to whomever I'm getting this message to. And you know what? Maybe today it's email, maybe tomorrow it's text, maybe the next day it's a video, maybe I just recorded 6 videos as I was waiting for you to hop on because I happen to have a few minutes and my hair is, looks half decent. So whatever, right, exactly. But just like you, Bill. But I don't love recording videos, but at the end of the day, the people want what they want, and you have to give them what they want. And I think that that's something that you have mastered so very well. As Bill knows, I'm part of a very high-end coaching program, but what Bill offers is something that is about interacting and learning and growing together. And yesterday at the power lunch I went to that he hosted in Fort Lauderdale, there were some amazing tips that he's just giving, because he can't, just like today, he's telling you a couple, like a Mingle. I'd never heard of Mingle before, and Mingle is about influencer sites. So you have to listen to the people because they are connecting with the people that want the information. And that's what Bill has done. So
much of this stuff today is these are free tools.
Yeah.
And you might be paying tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm a huge believer in investing in very high level coaches, but I also believe in practical application of basics in business, that you got to have a great offer. You got to solve a problem. You got to make something better. And then you got to have great marketing behind it. You got to have great collateral, and you got to have great follow through. And these are things you build over time with great systems. And that's one of the things that we've always focused on at Rainmakers, giving the average entrepreneur, giving them above average tools and systems and processes to win, but still be frugal, not have to. And when I coach large companies, believe it or not, they go through the same thing. I'm seeing companies paying thousands for this Hootsuite and that suite and all this other stuff. And they got this software and that software. And by the time you sit down with them, they're not hardly using any of them, yet they're spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month on software that they can get for next to nothing these days. So when you keep hearing from all these, these mega guru companies, you got to buy all these things, that take a step back in your business and figure out, do you have a great offer? Are you producing qualified leads? Do you have a good follow-up and follow-through system? And if you have those things in place, you got a lot of the story down. Now it's just about getting out there. And my friend that passed away just less than a year and a half ago, he said, and he created multiple billion-dollar brands. He said, see the people and tell the story. So think for yourself, right? Today, see the people, tell the story. Are you doing that every day with your business? And if you're not, your competitors are, if their marketing is better than yours, even if your services are better than theirs, they're beating you at the game of business. We've all seen great products nobody buys. We've seen some horrible products people buy every day.
Absolutely.
The difference is marketing.
It's 100% marketing. It's so true. I don't know if you recall, but I had developed something called Scale Up Checkup, and it was a brilliant tool. It was kind of like, I think, whatever, a little pat on back there, but it was about helping companies to figure out where they were lacking and fill in all the gaps.
Yeah.
But I lacked the money, not to start the business, but for the marketing. And I underestimated the scope of the marketing that I was going to need. So I had to let the business go because I probably needed $1 million, and I didn't know you then.
Right.
Okay. So you never know.
Sometimes you need $1 million marketing partner.
That's for sure.
A lot of times that, people don't want to give up some of their company, but realize Bill Gates is the majority shareholder of Microsoft. He owns less than 4% of the company.
Right.
Sometimes a small piece of something really big is much better than a big piece of something that stays really small.
It's like a big fish in a small pond. And one of the things that I remember I was saying to somebody today, the very first time several years ago, when somebody invited me to a joint venture thing, And, as a lawyer, I'm thinking joint venture.
Right.
What am I going to a joint venture thing as an entrepreneur? I didn't even understand what it was about. But now the word, like, will you JV with me? Will you like yesterday, we
Right.
talked about doing a JV. And that JV is when it's more like an affiliate in terms
Yeah,
of
it's more like a marketing,
terms.
it's more like a marketing partnership, no different than Delta teams up with American Express on the airlines.
Right.
You Doritos team up with Mountain Dew, because if you're eating a lot of Doritos, Mountain Dew might quench your thirst and give you some energy. So big companies do JVs every day, or
Every
marketing
day.
partnerships. It happens every day, and maybe we don't see it, we're not present to it, but every hotel partners with a credit card company. This is not by accident, and the biggest companies in the world do it. So why wouldn't you do it?
Exactly. And I think that it's just like you're saying, like so many people, like McDonald's became bigger when Burger King came and started competing with them, right?
Right.
And you're always, I love collaboration. I have built, I would say last year, at least a third of my business was from referral partners in some way, shape, or form. As a realtor, I'm a great referral partner. I don't work with buyers, sellers, or investors, but I refer clients every single day. And guess what? Referral fees come in. We like that, right? You're sleeping. Oh, look at that, a house sold, right? And that's what you have built so well, is you have amazing referral partners, a lot of whom go on the marketers cruise, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did referrals for that event one time, and we've been number one or number two for 5-6 years in a row. And because people know if I'm going to back something or someone, I believe in it, I probably use the service, and I know they're going to do a great job. And my goal is to always, if I'm going to promote for somebody, I always want to be their number one affiliate partner. I never want to be number 26 or 28. It's like, we've built a really big database, and we send out emails and connections and text messages. We probably send 5 million emails a month. But I know for a fact that if something's really good, we're doing a disservice not to share it with our clients. Even if someone has business coaching service of some sort that can help our clients, I would still share their products and services because I think it can help the clients. And I know a lot of coaches don't believe in that. They're very much, this is my little tribe, my little group. I'm not going to let them talk to anybody. I think when you live in that little small bubble, you're going to stay small.
You're going to stay small.
There's just no way. There's no way to go big that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you something. Yesterday,
Sure.
I think you mentioned you're in 33 countries.
We are. We sell our course in more than 30 countries now.
More than 30. And in your program, you have people that come every week from how many different time zones? Many, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, our coaching calls recorded and put inside of our alumni group. So the alumni group, we've had recordings now there for 7 years.
Wow.
I want to say we have nearly 400 recordings that we have of these 20-minute business segments from people like Mark Victor Hansen or Brian Tracy or Bill Walsh, or all these guests that we bring on, and we give it all away to our members. So any day that you need some little extra oomph, all you got to do is log into, if you're part of our community, log in and listen to some of the things we call it our success vault, because it's a vault of super content that we've created for years and years and years, and we give it away as part of the program.
Well, I'm very excited to be able to finally access all of this. It's always, listen, one thing I think Bill will agree with me, you never don't need a coach. There's always somebody that you can learn from, no matter how far you've gone, no matter if you're Bill Gates or Elon Musk. Oh my goodness, let's not go there. But or any of these,
all the greatest athletes or business people,
for sure,
coaches. And the more money you make everybody, the more coaches you hire. And that
Absolutely.
could be a health coach, a spiritual coach, a life coach, a business coach. I'm not saying you got to hire one coach or just have one specialty. As you make more money, hire more specialties. It's only going to improve your game.
Yeah.
Every athlete, whether it's LeBron James, who spends $1 million a year on coaching, does he spend $1 million? Well, number one, he can, but number two, it's so he can be the best at his game, be the best at his class.
Yes, and
as most people don't realize.
They don't. They think, oh, I've made $1 million, or I've made whatever. I don't need any more coaching. That's when you need the most coaching, because that's when you get in your own head and you start thinking, oh, I don't need that. But really you do. You need it because you need accountability, like you said, mindset, health coaching, staying focused, not looking at all the squirrels. And connecting with like-minded people, because as you up your game, the game increases, right? And
I think we're all a work in progress.
Yes.
I'm excited to have you share your knowledge and information. about going cross borders and how to expand businesses and how to make sure your companies are set up right when you do come here. And if you need to get loans and government loans,
Yes.
you can help people with. And we have a student that does this now on the West Coast, and their business is blown up. You know, most of their business comes out of the Philippines or China or those areas, but that's where they've targeted. But now, I mean, they're in the news every week bringing new companies in. You know, so all they did was they got better at their marketing. They came to our program to build networks and get connected to more networks, and boy, have they. And there's nothing you love to see more than your clients knock it out of the park. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling.
I agree with you so much. Every time a client gets a visa, and like I feel like I'm there with them at the interview. I feel like, oh my God, their dream is coming true. I'm helping these people move from whatever they're leaving to a new country, a new home, a new opportunity, and the American dream, you know,
that's the ripple effect. Now your work with them creates a ripple effect for those they're going to serve.
That's right.
And that really, as an entrepreneur, is a magical feeling. And if you're listening today and maybe things aren't perfect, it's okay. You know, pick up a book like Think and Grow Rich. Pick up a book called Outwitting the Devil. These are things that people go through in life and business, both by Napoleon Hill, the latter by Napoleon Hill and co-author with Sharon Lechter. But these are things you've got to feed your mind with good stuff. Yeah. So people say, well, what do you think about Tony Robbins? What do you think about these? I say, you know what? They're all good. You know, you've got to figure out what you need to learn from them and make sure you stay on your course. Don't get going left or right. Stay right down the center of what you're focused on, your greatness. I meet so many people that tell me I do this and I do this and I do this. And I say, which one of those businesses makes you at least 7 figures a year? And all of a sudden it's like crickets. But when I talk to people that are laser focused and they've got one path and they're on one business and their marketing is great and their service is great, they're not just doing 1 million, they're doing multiple millions of dollars. Because I promise you today, as you sit here listening at home or you're getting this broadcast, that a laser that points everywhere, it does nothing. But a laser that's focused, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, because it wasn't until about 1.5 years ago when we really honed in on our focus. Yeah. And as soon as we did that, it started, the clients started coming, because they realized that you're in your lane of genius, your zone of genius, just like you have multiple partners that may provide other complementary services. But at the end of the day, as soon as you bring your target, as soon as you narrow your target, your success expands.
All you have to do is pick the niche and own it.
Pick the niche and own it. That's a great one. Very good. Bill, do you have any parting comments? I know you're off to pick up your son to head out to some funky music. We're going
to see Rolling Loud. We're going to see Travis Scott tonight and have some fun.
Oh, cool.
You know, the most important thing that I would say as an entrepreneur is just don't quit.
Don't quit.
You know, don't let these negative people get in your mind, and realize that it's not going to be easy. The road to a successful entrepreneur is moving from something called, and I know this is hard to stomach sometimes, is that many times people will laugh at you, they'll put you down, they'll tell you you're not good enough, you can't do it. And the road to get there is in silence. So when you can be silent about your leadership and you can really just go out there and start knocking it out of the park, the funny thing is your actions will always speak louder than your words. Mm-hmm. So learn to listen with your eyes, not your ears. Learn to listen with your eyes, not your ears, and just stay the course. It's worth it as an entrepreneur. And the greatest thing in life of all the business deals I've ever done is the fact that I now have 3 amazing young adults that are my kids. My son, Austin's my business partner in multiple deals. My daughter's I believe it or not, she's a PA in dermatology. So she makes me stay out of the sun. She just messes with Italy and Greece. And my youngest son produces music. He makes beats. But when you can really look back and reflect on the fact that you've raised some good kids. Yeah. People tell me all the time, I make all this money, I do all this stuff. Great. Tell me whose lives you've actually made a difference in. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's really, truly what matters. So really take a deep dive into the fact that you have greatness within. Don't be afraid to go out and go after your dreams. And if people laugh at you, always remember they're cheering for you. So if you guys want to connect, you can always hit me on IG, Bill Walsh 360. I'm sure they'll have some more links in here later. You guys can connect there as well. But I'm excited, Lauren, about our new partnerships together and things we're going to do. And I'm so happy to have you as one of our new rainmakers. But everyone, if you're listening today, just don't stop and don't quit. The sky's the limit for what you put your mind to. And don't forget what I said earlier, is that pick the niche and own your space.
I agree. fully. Pick your niche and own your space. Thank you, Bill Walsh, for joining us today on our Investing Across Borders podcast. Please subscribe on all of this general podcast channels, from Spotify to Google to, of course, Apple. And well, Apple's my favorite. I just have a little affinity for Apple. But with that being said, I'm Lauren Cohen signing off, and thank you again for joining us. We'll be back with another amazing episode, and thank you, Bill. And I'm looking forward to our journey together. Have fun
Keep up
tonight.
the great work, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.